I need help. I'm disappearing, and something worse is taking my place. It started on Christmas Eve. Looking back, there were signs I should have noticed, like how Emma, my sister, would spend hours staring at empty boxes, or how she collected wrapping paper but never used it. How her depression always seemed to worsen around Christmas, like she was unconsciously remembering losses she couldn't quite name. I was wrapping presents at 3 a.m., desperate because I couldn't afford anything worthwhile for my sister. She'd been battling depression since Mom died, or at least that's what everyone said. Sometimes Emma would wake up crying, talking about sisters she never had. The doctors called it parasomnia. When I cut myself on the wrapping paper, my blood made this strange, shimmering pattern. Something shifted in the air. My hands moved on their own, folding the paper with perfect precision around the empty box. Each crease was exact, like I'd done this 1,000 times before. The paper caught the light oddly, shimmering like dark water, like countless faces screaming silently beneath its surface. I wrapped for hours, though it should have taken minutes. My tears had stopped, but not because I felt better. Something just felt missing. The room seemed dimmer, colors less vibrant. When I caught my reflection in the window, it took a moment too long to appear. When I finally tied the ribbon, I couldn't remember what had made me so upset in the first place. I couldn't remember the last time I genuinely laughed or felt the warmth of excitement about anything. Like the paper had drunk in something vital while I wasn't looking. I told myself I was just tired. Ignored how my shadow seemed fainter than it should be. How the winter air passed through my coat, like I wasn't quite solid enough to feel it properly. But when Emma opened that empty box the next morning, her whole face lit up with a happiness I couldn't feel anymore. Her smile, it looked familiar, but in a wrong way. Like she was wearing an expression I used to own. For just a moment, her eyes flickered with recognition. Not of me, but of something about this scene. Like she'd watched someone else fade before. She hugged me, crying about the beautiful gift, though the box was empty. That's when I noticed her eyes. They sparkled with a joy I remembered having once. A joy I couldn't seem to find inside myself anymore. She kept touching the wrapping paper, running her fingers over it with an absent-minded hunger I didn't understand yet. The change in Emma was dramatic. Everyone at the hospital where she worked noticed. Her whole demeanor had shifted overnight from someone barely surviving to someone radiating joy. People were drawn to her now, especially the kind ones, the givers, like she was unconsciously searching for something. When Dr. Chen, a neurosurgeon she worked with, mentioned his worsening hand tremors, during lunch, Emma told him about her mysterious Christmas gift. How opening that empty box had somehow made everything better. He showed up at my apartment that night, hands shaking so badly he could barely hold the empty box. I tried to explain I couldn't help, that I didn't know what Emma was talking about. But then I saw that paper again, shimmering in my drawer like it was calling to me. Had it always been there? The drawer where Emma had stored her collection of paper, never using it, just waiting. My hands moved before I could stop them. As I wrapped, I noticed how sound seemed muffled, like I was underwater, how my fingers sometimes passed through the paper before becoming solid again. 2 days later, Dr. Chen performed 3 perfect surgeries with rock-steady hands. That's when the whispers started. Desperate people began finding me through the hospital network. A mother whose child was in Dr. Chen's ward, screaming with night terrors. A nurse with chronic pain. An old woman waiting for a lung transplant who couldn't breathe. I tried to turn them away, but every time I saw their suffering, that paper would catch the light just so, and I'd find myself reaching for it. Each gift I wrapped took something from me. Their fearful nights, their aching bones, their strangled breaths. It all found a new home inside my skin as I folded and creased that shimmering paper. That's when I started noticing something. At first, it was just echoes, my laugh lingering in empty rooms like someone practicing it. My reflection would continue moving for a split second after I stopped, as if something was learning my mannerisms. I'd catch glimpses of my own smile in windows, but slightly wrong, like someone trying to get it just right. Soon I started seeing her, just glimpses in mirrors at first. Another woman standing behind my reflection, solid, real, wearing my smile. Sometimes I'd catch Emma watching her instead of me, like she knew what was coming, like she'd seen it before. She's in all the mirrors now. When I look at old photos, they're shifting. In some, I'm transparent while she's starting to appear, standing where I should be. In others, my face is blurring while hers becomes clearer. The strangest ones are the oldest photos. Sometimes I catch glimpses of other women in them, other sisters, their faces fading like mine. Yesterday, Emma told me about that time we went camping as kids and made s'mores. I opened my mouth to say I'd never been camping. I'm terrified of the woods. But then I saw that woman in the mirror, grinning. She loves camping. Emma's eyes lit up with recognition, but not for me. For her, like she was remembering all the sisters who came before. Just for a moment, before the paper's magic made her forget again. My memories are changing too. I remember growing up with Emma, but the edges are fuzzy, like watching a movie through gauze. But other memories are surfacing, strange ones. A woman teaching me how to wrap gifts, her face always just out of focus, her hands guiding mine through each fold, each crease. Her voice growing fainter as she taught me, like she was speaking from underwater. Why can't I remember her face? Oh God, I just found an old diary in my desk. The handwriting isn't mine, but it's telling my story about finding the wrapping paper, about giving everything away piece by piece, about seeing another woman in mirrors, about Emma's depression deepening each time a sister fades, drawing in the next kind soul who can't bear to see her suffer. I'm not the first sister. I'm not even the 10th. The paper needs us, and Emma's pain draws us in again and again. When we fade completely, the paper doesn't just find someone new. It creates them, manufactures them from the essence of the sister before. I understand now why that first smile looked so familiar. She's being built from pieces of me, my joy, my memories, my mannerisms, all being woven into this new sister taking shape in the mirrors. And now I'm watching my replacement learn to be me. In every reflection, she's more solid as I become more transparent. Emma's memories are shifting to include her instead of me. Soon, she'll be the only sister Emma remembers until the paper hungers again. The woman in the mirror is wrapping a gift right now. Her hands are moving exactly like mine. Blood on the paper. A shimmering pattern. I can feel parts of myself floating away like dust motes in sunlight. I have to go. Someone's knocking. Another referral from the hospital. They've brought an empty box, and my hands. Are they even my hands anymore? I can see the wall through them. Are already reaching for the paper. If you receive a gift this Christmas, wrapped in paper that shimmers like spilled blood, don't open it. That's not a gift inside. That's me. Edit. Emma just came into my room to tell me about her day at the hospital. I tried to respond, to reach out, but my voice felt thin, distant, like trying to scream underwater. That's when I noticed her eyes weren't meeting mine anymore. She was looking through me, focusing on a point just behind where I sat, where that woman stands in the mirror, the one who's becoming more solid as I fade to nothing. My hands are moving on their own now. I watch helplessly as they demonstrate the perfect way to fold corners, to crease edges. My voice speaks without my permission, teaching techniques I don't remember learning. Like this, I hear myself say, showing her how to make the paper drink blood, how to wrap emotions into empty boxes. The woman in the mirror mimics my movements, becoming more precise with each fold. She's nearly complete now. My smile on her face, my memories in her eyes, my essence woven into her being. Each piece she takes makes me lighter, less real. I try to warn her, to scream about what's happening, but my treacherous voice just keeps teaching. This is how you make the corners sharp, it says, while I dissolve like fog in morning sun. This is how you capture their pain, their joy, their life. Emma just left my room still chatting happily with her real sister. As she walked through the doorway, just for a moment, her smile faltered. She touched the wrapping paper on my desk with that familiar, absent hunger. Does some part of her remember? Does she feel the weight of all the sisters she's lost? I wonder. Did the sister before me feel this too? This terrible lightness? This fading? Did she also watch through vanishing eyes as her own hands taught her replacement how to continue the cycle? Did she understand that Emma's depression wasn't natural, but the paper's way of ensuring new sisters would always be manufactured from our desperate need to help? The paper is glowing again. Someone else is at the door. Soon, so soon, I will be nothing but shimmering patterns on wrapping paper, waiting to be woven into the next sister. Another piece of living gift wrap, crafted from everything I used to be. At least Emma is happy. That was all I can't remember what I was saying. The woman in the mirror is waving to me. She's holding wrapping paper. It's so beautiful, so hungry.
This is Shaded Girl. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.